Welcome to Yu-Gi-Oh! News, where the news comes last and the weather comes later. A poster has been revealed, the poster has been revealed for Raging Tempest, the new set that's upcoming in the OCG, with this weird Odd Eyes card. We now know what Odd Eyes it is. That, I believe I already mentioned in another video. If I didn't, let me know, and then I suppose I can make a video about it if you want. Anyway, this poster, for some reason can't make big, but I used the able to just before this. Anyway, it shows a new Jiu Nishishi theme based on a Chinese zodiac, which is interesting. I do like stories regarding the Chinese zodiac. Remember, officially, I got to know that due to I think it's Digimon Frontier. I get to know the Chinese zodiac. There were 12 enemy monsters. Well, mostly they were enemy Digimon that were based on the Chinese zodiac, and it wasn't just they were themed after. The characters actually, after seeing a few of them, were like, "Oh, look, this is a Chinese zodiac calendar. We can figure out that we're still looking for a rabbit, and we're still looking for a monkey," and then they were a rabbit and a monkey, and they actually figured it out that way. So that was good. Interesting. That's how I got interested in the Chinese zodiac. So I'm interested to see how this will work. Apparently, it has a rank 4 monster. We don't know much else about it. A Cyber Tuchibon is in the set, which I believe is a card that Alexis used in this weekend's Yu-Gi-Oh! Episode. Not that I've seen it, because I can't find it anywhere on the internet. Same for 122, although I did watch 122 last week after searching quite a bit. There was one anime website that had it, although I can't find it anymore. So I don't know where that went. But yeah, 122 and 123 just aren't online because there just isn't anyone that recorded and uploaded it. I'm not really sure how that works, but yeah, I'm still waiting for even to be able to see 123 in Raw. And I don't really mind watching Yu-Gi-Oh! On Raw. I generally watch it Raw and then a week later subbed or something like that, just before the new episode's out, but I'll have to wait for that. But yeah, Tuchibon is probably one of Alexis' cards. Then, a main thing, Ancient Gear Chaos Giant, the main boss monster in Term Code of the Obelisk Force and Academia's Agents. It's in Raging Tempest. And I really like that. And at the time that this article was put out, which was a few hours ago, there wasn't a big picture of the poster yet, I guess, which is why I can't make this one big. And so, Ancient Gear Chaos Giant, we didn't know about its effects either. But I purposely waited for a few hours, and we now have it. A big picture of Ancient Gear Chaos Giant, and it does look pretty cool. It looks really cool. So with this charging up this beam, this dark lightning charging up the attack, I do really like that. So, what does it do? Well, it is a level 10 Dark Machine type monster, 4,500 attack, 3,000 defense. Needs 4 Ancient Gear monsters to fusion summon. So not just your 4 different kinds of dogs that they used in the anime. Although that's still possible because they're still Ancient Gears, but this could make it a bit simpler. Can't be special summon except by fusion summon. So no Cyberstein, or is it Summoner of Illusions, I think, a few other things. But you need a fusion summon to summon it. Also, you can't have it be defeated and then call it the Hunted it back. That's also not a possibility. But what does it do at 4,500 attack? Well, while it is in a monster zone, it is unaffected by the effect of spell and trap cards. So no Darkhold, no compulsory evacuation device, no any kind of mirror force, no magic cylinder, no Raigeki. Also, your opponent can't activate monster effects during the battle phase. So no, I suppose, Utopia effect, no flip effects from Rico Lightsworn Hunter. However, monster effects outside of the battle phase can still be activated. So if you flip summon a Rico Lightsworn Hunter, or Man-Eater Bug, or Old Vindictive Magician just in your main phase, it still works. Also, it says monster effects cannot be activated in battle phase. So any continuous effects that would weaken Chaos Giant in any way work, even in the battle phase. So keep that in mind while facing it. Then, this card can attack all monsters your opponent controls once each, and if it attacks the defense position monster, inflict piercing damage. That is something big. So if the opponent has multiple monsters, you can attack big. So this is somewhat of a counter-ish thing to the pendulums, which makes sense that the Lancers, whose force that brings them together, sort of might be pendulums, and the Chaos Giant is the thing that faces against them. So I do really like that. The Chaos Giant's effect there is really cool. Fusion materials for Ancient Gears might be hard to get around, just because You may get 4 of them in your hand and field combined, but then it still costs you a lot of like card advantage. You need your polymerization or something similar, and then 4 monsters, so that gets rid of 5 cards to summon this. Sure, it's unaffected by a good amount of things, but Overload Fusion. I notice I'm sort of making this into a Yu-Gi-Oh! Discussion-esque video. I'm not going to go too much more into detail, but remember Overload Fusion? Quite often this was used, like, it was played when Future Fusion was still a thing. Bunch of stuff was sent to the graveyard for Chimeric Fortress, no, Chimeric Overdragon, and then Overload Fusion was played to just banish all of them to summon Chimeric Overdragon with a bunch of attack. There's also a lot of Chimeric Overdragon to get to, like crazy amounts of attack that are just unreal pretty much. Not really possible anymore with Future Fusion gone in that way, but Overload Fusion can only summon Dark Machine type Fusion monster. Dark Machine type, look what our Chaos Giant is. So that's a possibility you can go for. So yeah, Chaos Giant and a few other things revealed. The Chaos Giant, obviously the main card. I'm really excited to see this card. And with some of the new Ancient Gear support, I believe Yuri actually used Ancient Gears in this week's episode as well. I'm interested to just try out the new Ancient Gears, see what they're about when the cards are released. That was the news video for today. Good day and good news.